Taking the next step in reloading for accuracy is finding out improved ways on virtually every step in reloading. In this video, we are going to begin the journey on finding out what bullet exceeding depth works best for your particular gun, and being able not to worry about all the ununiform bullet tips. The first tool we're going to be going over is the Hornady Lock and Load Overall Length Gauge. It's a very simple and effective tool with only 4 components to it: the body, the plunger, the modified case, and the thumb screw. The body just houses the other 3 components all together. This plunger moves up and down inside the body, allowing the bullet to be able to push through the modified case and onto the lands, which we'll go over later. The thumb screw tightens down the plunger when it's at the correct depth. The last part to this tool is the modified case. These cases are sold separately, and a case for the individual caliber you'll be using needs to be purchased. These modified cases look and are a normal case that's been modified at the base where the flash hole and primer pocket should be. You can see it's been drilled out and tapped to be able to fit on the end of this tool. The only other thing that's been modified in this case is the neck. The neck has been expanded just a little bit to be able to hold a bullet freely and allow it to be able to slide up and down. The next tool that we're going to be going over is the Hornady Lock and Load Bullet Comparator. You can buy these in 2 different sets. One set comes with the body with 6 more common of your inserts, and the other set comes with 14, which I believe covers almost all calibers. These inserts just slip in to the body and then is locked with this locking screw. The only other tools and components that we're going to be using is my Cabela's digital caliper, my Lee bullet seed and die, Remington cases, and Hornady 32 grain VMAX bullets, and of course my Lee press. Well, it turns out I have no skill using paint shop, but hopefully this diagram helps us out anyway. Let's go over the diagram. This is the action. This is the barrel. Now, this is the modified case that we've inserted into the chamber. Obviously, this is the bullet. And this rod right here is actually the rod I'm actually holding my hand to point with. This is the plunger that I showed you guys before. So now what's going on? So right here is what needs to be understood. This is the ogive of the bullet. The ogive of the bullet is the point which will touch the lands. Now, the lands, we all probably know what rifling is. The rifling is the grooves that are inside the bore. Well, the lands is the metal that is not grooved out. So when this is the modified case, so when it's being pushed into the barrel, make sure it's tight against this stop right here. And so what we're going to be doing with the tool is this rod is going to be pushing onto the base of the bullet, or the rim of the bullet, and is going to be pushing the bullet all the way till it touches the lands. The ogive touches the lands. Even though this is just a quick step, I thought I'd show it anyway. As you can see, my gun is sitting securely in my rest. This acts as my gun vise. Another thing is, I put a cleaning rod down the bore of the gun. Now, there's 2 reasons why I do this. One, you can have the plunger in one hand and the cleaning rod in the other, and nudging the bullet back and forth, you can feel that the bullet is going to be seated in the correct spot. And another reason is, usually the bullet gets stuck onto the lands when you pull out the assembly, so I can also use it to pull out the assembly with the bullet still intact. The last thing you need to do is just remove the bolt. No, I don't keep it loaded. I just store it with a snap cap in it. That's it. Now let's prep our tools. First thing you want to do is take your correct modified case and screw it on to the end of your overall length gauge. And take the bullet that you're going to want to be using, just slip it into the mouth a little bit, and then take the plunger and push it up till it just touches the bullet, and then lock it there. Now this will prevent the bullet from falling into the case when we're inserting it into the action. Now take your bullet comparator and the insert that you're going to be using. This one is 14-20 for my 20 caliber. Slip it in the body. Tighten it. Now take your dial caliper. This is going to attach to your moving blade on your dial caliper. So just place it on there and then tighten it. Close it. And it hopefully should say 1 inch because the overall length is 1 inch. And you're going to zero it out there. Or if it doesn't say 1 inch, zero it out wherever it lands. And that's it. Now that our tool is already set, now we can use it. Place it into your chamber. Loosen your brass screw. And make sure that the body is pushed all the way forward to get an accurate result. So now what you're going to want to do is with the plunger, push on the plunger here, you want to push the bullet until you feel it lightly hit the lance. Now you won't be able to see it on camera, but you don't really need to. I'm pushing the cleaner rod now back, which pushes out the plunger a little bit, and now I'm pushing the plunger back in gently, and I'm going back and forth, and now I can feel that that bullet is seated in the correct spot. So you're going to want to take your nut or your thumb screw, and you're going to want to screw it there. Also, when you're feeling that the bullet is properly seated on the lance, remember to keep pressure on the body of the gauge to prevent the whole assembly from moving backwards and giving you an inaccurate reading. Now we can take this out, remembering to push through with the cleaning rod to prevent the bullet from sticking to the lance. Now we have the ability to take our reading. Now we can measure our results. This is where the bullet comparator comes into play. You see, you do not want to measure your bullets from the tip because there can be a lot of variance in the actual tip of a bullet. You always want to measure from the ogive. Now, the bullet comparator measures from the ogive of the bullet. So we slip the bullet into the insert that we put in before, and this tool has a little cutout right here that is able to fit your dial caliper right on so you can take your measurement. And we can see that the measurement is 2.073, and now that's from the rim all the way to the ogive of the bullet. So 2.073. We're going to write this down. And that is the ogive. Now it's time for a little bit of math. A thing you need to know, first of all, is usually bullets are not seated touching the lance. They are sit back a little bit. Most calibers and most guns like to sit somewhere between .20 to .30. In this case, it's a little different. My 204 Ruger in my Remington 700 at .20 to .30 would not be seated deep enough. It does not give enough grip on the bullet. So by doing this many times, I found out so far that I like to seat my bullet at .52 off the lands. So now, if we take this number here and subtract the .52, we get 2.021. And now this is the number that we're going to seat our bullet to. And remember, we're always, since we're using the bullet comparator, this is the number that we have to use using the bullet comparator, not from the full length, the overall length. Alright, I went ahead and I set it up my press and the die, and I just seated the bullet on top of the round. If you don't know how to do this, I did make reloading videos out there. You can check my channel and learn there. So what we're going to do is first back out your adjustment screw and seat it there, and take your measurement, your first measurement. .041, so not deep enough. Remember, we need 2.021, so turn in a little bit. Check in again. 2.032, still not enough. .030. Well, 2020. Went just a little, 20 and a half. It'd be close enough. And just remember that this is what my gun likes. Some guns, even competition shooters, like to seat their bullet so it is just touching the lands. So this is a very accurate way to find out at what point your bullet touches your lands, and how to use the bullet comparator to seat your depth at that number. Let me explain one more thing in case some of you get confused. If we take our overall length number, we can see that it is 2369. And if you look in your manual, the number is 2260. Now obviously, this maximum overall length is smaller than our number. Well, that's okay. The number that's given in here is a safe number, which works with pretty much all guns and all bullet sizes. Now, as long as you're seated into a depth where it can properly hold your bullet secure without falling out, or can cycle without the bullet getting stuck in the lands, that'll be fine. So now that you made your test depth, then you can come over to your gun, and you're going to actually want to try it to see if it cycles. Just load it up, and now hopefully when we pull the bolt back, the bullet will still be intact. Of course, I should have cut that, huh? But it was. So this round would be safe to fire.